both finished top 5 in the sprint, and now they're into the final 8 of the slalom. So they are having an incredibly successful event so far. Remember, you do combine the two. We're off. Oh, and unfortunately, Kalemtsov really struggled to get off the starting block, but he's in the water now. But Saramindov has flown out of the blocks here. This is not time. This is first past the post. First past the post, so he will look across now, Kalemtsov, and know he's got the job in front of him. It is Saramindov from Mauritius, who has the lead at the moment as they head down to the third obstacle. They go around. This is the reverse turn obstacle. Saramindov clearly ahead as he heads up to the middle part of the course. Terence Saramindov from Mauritius. Yes, I repeat, from Mauritius. Now he has to do the Eskimo roll. He's over. Nice and clean, no problems there. The Russian Kalemtsov turns now, and he does his Eskimo roll, no problems at all. But he has a lot of ground to make up. This is the first of the quarterfinals, and it is Saramindov who turns now. He's got 2 obstacles to go. He holds a fairly significant break on the Russian Alexander Kalemtsev. Terence Saramindov, you would think, unless something drastic goes wrong here, he should be able to make it clearly through to the semi-finals. Terence Saramindov from Mauritius turns now, heads for home. He is going to qualify for the last 4. The man from Mauritius, Henriette Engel Hansen. What a great result for Africa. You're on.
I'm on.
You're on.
Okay, I'm on.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
That was impressive.
It's pretty good.
I mean, the Russian lost it at the start. He got stuck on the stand.
We've seen that with quite a few now, actually.
Yeah.
Some of them are helping with the paddle, but they have their issues, some of them.
Yeah, he unfortunately, he lost that race at the start. He was already a couple of seconds behind by the time he hit the water. But that is a very impressive run for the man from Mauritius. The man who lost my GoPro, Terence Saramindov from Mauritius. How was your lunch?
It's great.
Good, good.
Had a good chat with some of the young athletes.
Yep.
Some of them are a bit shy to speak with me.
Well,
But
you are a bit daunting, I suppose. I mean, you are a 3-time Olympian and a world champion, and these 15-year-olds would look at you and probably be a little bit nervous, like I am, sitting next to you.
I don't think so.
No. Now we have... now, this is one of the interesting stories already unfolding. This quarterfinal we have from Thailand, Chonlasit Patraksa. He was 30th in the sprint, but the guy he's up against, Dias Bakredin from Kazakhstan, he was 3rd fastest in the sprint, and here he is in the slalom. So this guy is already having a very, very good event. And we're off. Oh, I think we've got to... Nope, they've allowed it. So again, a bit of a mess up at the start. Oh, where's he going? Where is Bakredin going? I don't know where he thought he was heading to, but he was heading towards the wrong turn, and it's Patratska from Thailand who gets the early advantage. 2 starts, and we've had 2 muck-ups by 2 of the athletes, but the athlete from Thailand, Chonlasit Patratska, is doing the better at the moment, although...
He's doing really well.
He is doing really well, but I've got to say, Bakredin, who is a very good sprint canoeist, is making up the ground pretty quick as we go into the halfway stage. It's the athlete from Thailand who holds just a slight advantage. Let's see how the Eskimo rolls. He's over and up. Fairly clean there. Bakredin is also over and up. We are going to be in for a sprint finish here. It's going to be a very close run down the final stretch. It's the athlete from Thailand at this stage, Patraksa, who holds a slight advantage, but not by much. In fact, if anything, I would say that the athlete from Kazakhstan may be back in front. He is really charging around this course now. This is the reverse turn. Let's see how they go. A really good turn from Bakredin from Kazakhstan. I think he's taken the lead, has he? What do you see? I think so.
He has the lead, definitely.
They go into the final turn. This is the sprint for home. It's Bakredin from Kazakhstan, Patraksa from Thailand. I think it's the athlete from Kazakhstan. He's going to just get there. Wow. That is a really, really strong race for the athlete from Kazakhstan, who made a complete mess of the start. He hit the water. I don't know whether he was totally disorientated when he came up, but he started heading towards the side flag.
Yeah, I think he hit the wrong, like the water wrong, or somehow like he tipped the boat.
Yeah, and he was slightly disorientated, so he started heading towards the wrong flag. Somehow he's managed to turn it around, and it's taken him the full length of the race, but he has managed to haul back in Chonlasit Patraksa from Thailand. That is a really strong performance from the athlete from Kazakhstan who's having a very good week. The third quarter final, another tie. This is Pianath Kutsuk from Thailand up against Joaquin Lukac from Argentina. Lukac was 5th fastest in the sprint, so again, like Bakaredin, he's already had a very good event. The Argentinians are guaranteed a spot already anyway, but
But I don't know how they will divide it with the canoeing and the kayaking, because I think they have 2 spots, right?
Yep.
So probably like they will have a boy and a girl, but how they will divide it, we don't know yet.
Well, maybe
it also depends on the kayaking boy.
And maybe if they qualify in their own right, which they will do, they will get a quota for sure from this result. So, and again we've had the starts have not been good at the moment, but we're underway, and closest to the camera it's Kutsik from Thailand, Lukac from Argentina on the far side of the course. They head around the first buoy, very tight at the moment. Maybe Kutsik from Thailand just ahead of Lukac from Argentina, heading into the third turn now. It's still Kutsik from Thailand, slightly ahead of the Argentinian, but there's not much in it. They go around the reverse turn. It is a close race. I think, though, the Thai, looked like the Argentinian got into a bit of trouble coming out of that bend there. So that's given the Thai a slight lead, but not by much. Now they get into the middle part of the race. He's over. Kutsik is over and clean. We wait for Lukac, not as clean. He looks like he's gone up and down on the one spot there a little bit, so that's given the Thai athlete a bit of a break. And he'll see that now as he turns, looks across the course, see that he's slightly ahead of the athlete from Argentina, Lukac. This is Pianath Kutsuk from Thailand. He's around the third last obstacle. He heads towards the reverse turn. He needs to keep digging deep here. He heads into the reverse turn. He still holds that advantage. But it looks like Lukac from Argentina is paddling hard, trying to get back into this race. I think, though, the work is done, though, for Kutsik. He needs to just hold his nerve. He turns for the finish line now. Paddle strong, young man. Here he goes, heading for the finish line. I think he's going to get there. He does. So we have a tie through to the semi-finals, joining the athletes from Kazakhstan and Mauritius. Once again, though, at the start,
Seems like
it was not pretty.
Yeah.
Was not pretty at all for the athlete from Argentina. That's been nerves. Maybe they're nervous.
Of course they're nervous. Like now they're talking about the final and they know.
The final quarterfinal here, Martin Kratichvil from the Czech Republic, 47th fastest in the sprint, against Finn Anderson from New Zealand, 40th. And he has had a pretty good event, 40th in the goes up. Get a clean start this time. The man from New Zealand, furthest from the camera, Kratichvil from the Czech Republic, closest to the camera on Tower A. We await the starting gun. Ready to go. And they're off. This time we have a clean start. Both athletes hit the water together and head towards that first obstacle. On the far side of the course, it looks like Finn Anderson from New Zealand has got away to a flyer. He turns around that first turn nice and tight around obstacle number 1. Maybe slightly ahead of Kratichvil from the Czech Republic. But it's really tight now as they head into towards the third turn. This is the reverse turn, the reversed obstacle for both athletes. Anderson, I think, just ahead, but it is really, really tight. Kratichvil from the Czech Republic has made up a bit of ground. They turn to the middle part of the race. They go around almost as one. Anderson over first for the Eskimo roll. He's up. Kratichvil goes over now. He's also up. Nice and tight, both of them, with the Eskimo roll. And they head for the sprint home. Wow. This is going to be a really tight finish, I think. Who's got the most petrol in the tank? Finn Anderson on the far side of the course. Martin Kratichvil closest to the... We head first tight, but Finn Anderson into the final. Can he hold? He turns for home. Finn Anderson, he misses a stroke there, but he's going to do enough. I think it's going to be incredibly close. It's Anderson from New Zealand, just. What a great result for the Kiwi. That is a really good result from the man from the land of the long white cloud. Finn Anderson from New Zealand just getting over the line, and he looks pretty happy with himself.
For sure.
As he should do. As he should do, because what he's done there is he has stared off the challenge of Martin Kratitschville. Not much in it though, 1:22.78 to 1:23.54.
But if you look at the times for these 4 races now, you can see that the guy from Mauritius, he still have the fastest time by like 4 seconds.
What a great story that would be.
That's amazing.
It is a big difference, isn't it? He was 1:17.84, but you know, Henry, at those early races, all of those starts, they were botched. You know, I think all of those athletes will go back, except for that final.
He made a good start.
Yeah, he did
from the beginning.
Yep.
And it looked like it was mostly the guys going down on the ramp B that had some issues.
Yeah. I don't know whether there was a problem there. Maybe that's not as slippery, that ramp, as the other, but there is water. They're running water down both ramps to make sure that they're slippery enough. But so let's just repeat the 4 athletes that are through to the semi-finals. Terence Saramindif from Mauritius, representing Africa. Dias Bakredin from Kazakhstan, representing Asia. Pianath Kutsuk from Thailand, representing Asia. And Finn Anderson from New Zealand, representing Oceania. No athletes from Europe in the final 4.
That's pretty...
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And it's a great sign for the future of canoeing. And I hope that our European friends don't get upset about that.
No, you have Kazakhstan. They go within Europe.
Are they? I'm not sure.
Are they Asian? No, I get confused.
Yeah, I'll just double check there. Kazakhstan is Kazakhstan is part of Asia.
Yes, so far.
Yeah, so far. I think they'll probably. No, as we go to air today, it is part of Asia, but who knows? It might change. No, Kazakhstan is part of Asia. Let's look now at the lineup for the women's quarterfinal. And interesting here, Henriette, if we look at the 8 girls that are in the quarterfinals, none of them did any good in the sprint. So they're all slalom paddlers. The best of these 8 in terms of their result in the sprint was Doriane Delasses from France, and the best she could manage was 39th in the sprint. So we have some real out-and-out slalom paddlers here who are competing in these quarterfinals. And the nations represented, well, we have a Czech, we have an American, we have a Slovenian, we have...
None from Europe.
Yep. So the first quarterfinal, on Tower A, we have Katharina Bokova, who was very impressive, wasn't she, in the heats this morning. Katharina Bokova from the Czech Republic, 45th in the sprint, but really fast in the slalom this morning. And she is up against the American, Ria Schreiber, who was 51st in the sprint. She's on Tower B. So closest to the camera, it's Katharina Bokova. Schreiber, the American, on Tower B. Remember, it's first past the post. There's no timing to worry about here, except for possible seedings later on, but the first priority here is to be first across the line. The flag goes up. They're under the starter's orders. And they're away. Both together, they hit the water. They head towards the first obstacle. It's Bokova from the Czech Republic closest to the camera. Schreiber is also clean, so they turn for home. It's Bokova just from the Czech Republic. She turns and heads, and they look across at each other, and they work out what they've got to do from here. And they go, Bokova's made a big mistake. She went around the wrong side. She's straightened it up now, but that has let Schreiber into this race. This is a major disappointment for Bokova, a major surprise that an athlete of her experience would do that. She now has the work in front of her to catch Schreiber from America. Schreiber in front, she looks across, she can't believe it, I'm sure, that she has so much of a lead over Bokova from the Czech Republic, and it's going to be Schreiber in something of an upset. Gets home ahead of Bokova, who absolutely botched, and look at her. Look at Katharina Bokova from the Czech Republic. She has her head in her hands. She absolutely blew it on the second obstacle on the way home. She started to head to do a reverse turn, realised that she didn't need to, and by that stage the damage was done. And Ria Schreiber.
But imagine if she had done a perfect race, it would have been a really fast time.
It would have been believe that suddenly she's found herself through, because Bokova this morning was just incredibly fast and would have, and she still, that is very disappointing for her. Katharina Bokova from the Czech Republic. Let's move on though. This is the second quarterfinal, and another of the girls who was very impressive this morning, Eva Hosova from Slovenia. In Tower A, she was 74th in the sprint, and she's up against Lois Lever from Great Britain. In Tower B, Lois Lever 48th after the sprint. So Slovenia versus Great Britain.
As far as I remember, they were about the same time, right?
Yeah. Yep, they were. Let's see if I can find it here. I did get myself organised at one stage. So, yeah, Hosova was 1:16.29, and Lois Lever, I think, was 1:19.12. Okay, no, so there was about 3 seconds difference there. Okay. And they're off and into the water as one. It is Hosova closest to the camera from Slovenia. Lever from Great Britain on the far side of the course. They come down to the first obstacle. They turn to get head for the third obstacle. And she struggled a little bit to get up. She maybe lost a little bit of time there. But Hosova is still having a bit of work to do, because Lever turns first for the run home. Let's just hope they can all get this right. Lever gets around the first obstacle. She's okay. She has a decent lead now over Hosova. Hosova has the work in front of her if she wants to pull this back. It's Lois Lever from Great Britain. She's leading this race. She turns with one obstacle to go. Hosova having real problems behind her now, getting around that reverse turn. Lois Lever has this race in the bag. She turns for home. She's got about 5 strokes in front of her to get across the line. She crosses the finish line now. Lois Lever from Great Britain. Again, you would think that's a bit of an upset given the times from this morning, but Lois Lever joins Ria Schreiber into the semi-finals. So an American and a Brit so far through, and 2 highly rated Europeans find themselves out of the race.
This is a quick one for
1:14.88. Yeah, 1:14.88 is the time. Just going back, you look at Katharina Bokova in that first race. Yeah. Her time was 1:13.01 this morning.
She just missed a...
Wow.
What was that?
It just goes to show what...
the sixth pillar, right?
Yeah.
So she had to go backward.
What pressure there is on these athletes. Okay. Quarterfinal number 3, and we have the French woman, Doriane Delessis, the best placed after the sprint. Doriane Delessis, she was 39th, and she is on Tower A. On Tower B from Slovakia, it's Kristina Durachova from Slovakia. I think, judging, going by this morning's times, they were both quite even, I think. Durachova's time was 1:19.47, and Delessis was 1:17.17, so... Delessis, the quickest this morning, the girl from France, she's closest to the camera. And they're away. Good start for both girls as they head down the course. The French woman hits the water and absolutely takes off to the first obstacle. She gets around just ahead. She is powering through the water. Doriane Delessis. On the far side of the course, it's Kristina Durachova from Slovakia. They head around the second obstacle, almost neck and neck, and head down towards the reverse turn. I think it's going to be the girl from Slovakia who turns first, although it's very tight. She has a really good reverse turn there, Kristina Durachova, and heads down towards the middle part of the course. She will turn first at the halfway stage. Let's see how she goes with the Eskimo roll. Really good, up and over. Whereas, the girl from France is in trouble. She's up now though, but oh my goodness, she has lost a lot of space there. So Kristina Durachova, she has some breathing space. She just needs to get it right. She runs into that pole, but that's not a problem. She gets around it on the proper side. She heads now for the reverse turn. She just needs to hold her nerve and do it right from here on in. She has one more obstacle to go, but again, I think we are in for, Henriette, an upset, and all because of a mistake in the roll there. But let's look at Christine.
Of course, it's a mistake, but I don't think you can count it as kind of a mistake. No, it was just difficult for her to get up again.
Yeah.
She will be at a better time. That
she would probably do that roll 10 times or 100 times and maybe make a mistake maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
In that 100 times. And unfortunately, one of those times was...
that often happens when you have the nerves.
The pressure, yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, unfortunately for Dorian Deleses, she is out. That leaves one more quarterfinal to go. Kristina Durachova from Slovakia joins the athlete from Great Britain and the United States. This is the fourth final. This is Lu Shimi from China on Tower A and Lily Bryant from Great Britain on Tower B.
And as far as I remember, the Chinese girl did a really fast run in the heat.
Yeah, and she was, she was going really strongly in the repechage. I think she made, there was a slight mistake she made, but she looked really powerful. She certainly was fast in the early stages of the race. Li Shimi from China and Lily Bryant from Great Britain was fast in the repechage, though. Very fast. I think she was the fastest through the repechage, if my memory serves me correct. Yeah, Lois Lever was the quickest in the repechage. And Lily Bryant was the third fastest in the repechage at 1:19.05. Anyway, they're off in the last of the quarterfinals. They both hit the water okay and head towards that first bend. Closest to the camera, it's Li Shimi from China. On the far side of the course, it's Lily Bryant from Great Britain. Maybe it's the Chinese girl just ahead, but it's not by much. They turn now. Shimi still just in front. Li Shimi from China of Lily Bryant from Great Britain. They come down to do the reverse turn. It's really tight around this one, so anybody's race at this stage. I think it's going to be the Eskimo roll that could well determine it. They both turn now in the halfway stage. It's the Chinese girl just in front, Li Shimi from Lily Bryant from Great Britain. Shimi is over. Lily Bryant is also clear, so now they turn for home. It is very even indeed. Li Shimi from China, Lily Bryant from the United Kingdom. It is Li Shimi from China, maybe, but Bryant is really digging deep here. They head down. They've got two more obstacles to go. This is the reverse turn. Li Shimi from China, Lily Bryant from Great Britain. Oh, my goodness, this is going to be a close really finish. Close race, this could be really, this will be the closest race so far.
She's a bit in front.
Lily Bryant maybe just ahead from Great Britain. From Li Shimi from China, it's Lily Bryant, Li Shimi. Bryant gets it. Lily Bryant from the United Kingdom from Great Britain is first. Two girls from the GB will be into the semi-finals. She still can't believe it, I think, Lily Bryant. It was close, but she managed to hold her nerve at the finish. Wow, not much in it, 1:17.30 to 1:17.78.
And I think what makes a big difference was that she was still fighting her own race. She didn't look to her competitor side at the, to her opponent, would you say that thing?
Yeah.
Until she had actually finished the race.
I
think that's an important, that she's focusing on her own race, and then after she can look, okay, where did I finish? I think...
Be tempted to look across and see how your opponent's going. I mean, wouldn't you be tempted to just have a glance and see, okay, how am I tracking? Am I doing all right? Have I got some problems? Am I...
In boats, we have often been, unless like we're looking at the Olympics, we've been 9 boats laying next to each other, and you can even feel where the others are laying, like almost, not even looking, but just the feeling of the colors and the boat moving. I think you have seen races where people have lost a race or a position or seconds, or not even seconds in a race, if they start looking at the others, because then the focus goes wrong. And they're not focusing on performing the best they can, they're focusing on their opponents, and I think you can't get a good result if you're just more aware of where your opponents are.
So we've got a couple of reruns now from this morning. This is just for times and overall placings. So the semi-finals will be back on at 5:45 Central European time. So in around half an hour from now. So we might take a little break and then come back with the first of the men's C1 semi-finals. At this stage, I can tell you what the semi-final lineup will be. The first semi-final will be between Seramindif from Mauritius and Kutsuk from Thailand. And the second semi-final will be Bakaredin from Kazakhstan against Anderson from New Zealand. And let's just check and see if we have the semi-final lineup at this stage. We don't have the semi-final lineup at this stage for the girls. We have a lot of reruns coming up. Goodness me, look at all those. So we'll be back at around 5:45 for the first of the men's C1 semi-finals between Seramandif from Mauritius and Kutsik from Thailand. So join us then. Welcome back to, I'm not going to say it's time, semi-finals time, and we are looking at the men at the moment. Oh, I've lost, can you believe it? I have lost the start list for the men, but we'll have to go off the screen. We don't have the official start list in front of us, unfortunately, so it's Saramindif from Mauritius. He's on platform A, and Kutsik from Thailand is on platform B. So Saramindif from Mauritius. He was the fastest this morning, clearly, wasn't he? Henriette, he was a long way in front. I think he was about 3 seconds.
He had some really good races. Also, he's in his quarterfinal.
In fact, 1:17.84 was his time. 4 seconds faster than the next quickest.
But he looks really confident in the water, and he looks really safe when going around the different pillars.
And he looks a lot older than 15 or 16 now. Look at him. He looks like a young man, but he's only a teenager. Terence Saramindoff from Mauritius up against Kutsik from Thailand. And is his opponent. Whatever happens here, we're going to have a great story in the final. One of these two athletes will go through, and that is a great story for canoeing. Either an athlete from Mauritius or an athlete from Thailand. They're away, and it is the athlete from Mauritius who gets away the quickest. It is Terence Saramindik. He was quickest this morning, quickest this afternoon, and he is paddling really, really well. He's around that first turn, clearly ahead of Kutsik from Thailand. It is Saramindif from Mauritius putting on a bit of a clinic here. This is a really impressive display. He comes down now to the third turn, and it's the reverse turn. He gets around it nice and clean. He's looking really polished in the water. This is a very impressive display. Kutsik from Thailand on the far side of the course doing his best to make up that lost ground, but he has a bit of work in front of him. As we get to the halfway stage, Saramindif is over and up and clean and on his way to the finish line. The athlete from Thailand, though, is back in the race. He's really pulled his way back into it. This is Kutsik from Thailand on the opposite side of the course, and Saramindif from Mauritius. In fact, it's the athlete from Thailand who's now taken the lead. Kutsik, he's really putting in a strong back half to the race. Painath Kutsik from Thailand turns in front. He is a clear leader over Terence Saramindif. I don't know what's happened to the man from Mauritius, but he has run into a bit of a brick wall. It is Painath Kutsik from Thailand who turns first and heads for the finish line. This is a really impressive second half of the race for the man from Thailand. He crosses the line now. That is impressive. Look at him. He is absolutely exhausted, but he has flown home. Absolutely flown home.
He looked a bit heavy, the guy from Mauritius.
Yeah.
Like it seems like his first half of the run, it was like good high stroke rate, and then after the turn, it's like, I don't know if he got cold or what happened, but he didn't look like he had the power anymore. Like he got tired. Yeah, maybe it was because he got cold. I have no clue. But the guy from Thailand, he was going really well. He kept up the race.
Yep.
He was going pretty steady. Pace both up and down.
Yeah,
So
really.
He kept a good average.
A really impressive back half of the race, wasn't it, for him? He really stormed home.
For sure.
So now we have from Kazakhstan, Diaz Bakridin, a very impressive athlete. He was incredibly impressive in the sprint, and now he's here. He's in the final four for the slalom. He is on Tower A, and from New Zealand. On Tower B, it is Finn Anderson from New Zealand. So Kazakhstan v New Zealand. Closest to the camera it is Bakridin from Kazakhstan. Anderson furthest from the camera.
They only had like 1.5 of a second between them from the what was it, quarterfinal?
Quarterfinal, yeah.
Yeah. So it could be a close run.
It could be. It may well come down to whoever's the least nervous. Maybe it's Finn Anderson because he's from Oceania and there's one qualifying spot up for grabs for Oceania, and Australia don't have a boat here in the men's competition, so he maybe feels more relaxed But they're off and racing, and Anderson hits the water, but it's back ridden. He is really fast. He was fast in the sprint. They head towards the first buoy, and it is going to be close. It's back ridden, maybe from Kazakhstan, turning first ahead of Anderson from New Zealand. They head across for the second obstacle, and it's still back ridden from Kazakhstan, just ahead of Finn Anderson from New Zealand. They head towards the first of the reverse turns. It's really, maybe Anderson now from New Zealand, but it is incredibly close. Back ridden from Kazakhstan. Makes it nice and clean. They get down towards the halfway stage of the race. They'll turn now. They'll do the Eskimo roll. At this stage, back ridden from Kazakhstan, maybe just ahead. Anderson goes first with the Eskimo roll. Back ridden is nice and clean with his roll. Now let's see who turns first for home. It's so close. Maybe a dead heat at this stage. Who can finish the strongest? It's DS back ridden from Kazakhstan. Finn Anderson from New Zealand. Oh, and it looks like, oh my goodness, I don't know what happened to the athlete from Kazakhstan. He lost his way. He's made a big mistake, and in fact looks like he's given up. He's absolutely given up. He does not know what is going on. He has blown it. Finn Anderson from New Zealand now. He just has to get it right, and he will progress to the final. But back ridden's going around every single boy out there. I'm not quite sure what has happened there, but he has completely blown it. Finn Anderson cruises over the line.
I think he lost his direction.
He completely lost his direction.
He went the right way around pillar number 6, so he was just supposed to turn to the other side and go to pillar 7, and instead he continued to pillar 2.
And he's been disqualified.
Yeah.
He completely lost it, though. It just looked like his radar just completely went out. And we talked when they were at the start about who would be the more relaxed, the least nervous. And you can only put that down to nerves. He was maybe so anxious, so nervous that he has completely blown it out there. And Finn Anderson, he has cruised through in a time that is not quick at all, 1:25:30. But I think he cruised towards the finish line.
He cruised, definitely. Like, he could see that the other guy, he lost it. So why spend a lot of energy on something where you know that you are actually further to the final? So why not, save some energy?
Can you believe, Henriette Engel Hansen, that we have got a final between Thailand and New Zealand?
That's pretty good.
Thailand and New Zealand in the men's canoe. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is really, really good for the sport. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see these two countries represented in the final race for the men's competition.
But New Zealand is actually quite strong in sprint. With slalom, I don't know, but
certainly the women are very strong, and they do have some very good men in the slalom over the years. Mike Dawson, of course, very well known male slalom paddler from New Zealand, and Finn Butcher. They've got a few guys down there who are very, very useful in a slalom boat. So I'm not sure. I'm sure Finn Anderson will probably find out later whether he trains with those guys. But he has really competed out of his skin here and is now going to be finishing top 2, which is a great performance for this young man. I'm just going to go back and find out where was he. He after the sprint was 40th, so not shabby at all in the sprint as well. So that is a good performance. Locked away that qualifying quota for Oceania, no doubt about that, for New Zealand. They'd sort of done that before they got here because the Australians did not send any boys here, only a couple of the girls competing. So now let me tell you about the semi-final lineup for the women. And we have in semi-final 1, we have from Great Britain, Lois Lever taking on the American Ria Schreiber. And semi-final 2 will be Kristina Durachova from Slovakia taking on the second Brit, Lily Bryant. So what do you make of all of that, Henriette, from this morning's racing and from the quarterfinals?
I think that it's pretty amazing that we have 4 athletes and 3 of them are English speaking. That makes it easy for you afterwards to get a good interview, huh?
From a purely selfish perspective, from somebody who has to go across and try and interview the athletes, it'll be nice if I get to speak to an English-speaking athlete. It will make, after the last couple of days, it's been a bit of a challenge. So I know people will say, well, why don't you learn more languages? And they're dead right.
Yeah, you promised me to learn Russian.
By this afternoon, didn't I? I said I would.
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
But I still think it's pretty surprising that we have two Brits fighting for a
Yeah.
spot in the final.
Yep, definitely.
It could be fun to see two British girls competing against each other
Yeah.
in the final.
Yep. Only one can go to Argentina, though. Only one per country can go. So there will be a little bit on the line. But this is semi-final one. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is Lois Lever from Great Britain. She's on Tower A. And from the United States, Ria Schreiber from the United States, who managed to overcome in the semi-final, in the quarterfinals, Bokova from the Czech Republic. It was a real upset, but Bokova went to the wrong gate. She really paid a heavy price for that, and I wonder if she's even looking on here, because she was so far in front of the rest of the field this morning and then made that big mistake. And they're off in the first of the semi-finals. Closest to the camera, it's Lever from Great Britain, Schreiber from the United States, and the far side of the course. They head into the first turn, and it's the Brit in front, Lois Lever. She turns clearly in the lead as they head down to the second obstacle. Lois Lever turns. She's still in front. She's heading down now to the first of the reverse turns, looking nice and strong in the water. She heads around now, holding a commanding lead, maybe a second possibly ahead of the American Ria Schreiber as we head down to the halfway stage. Schreiber is starting to make up a little bit of ground, though. Let's watch the Eskimo rolls. Lever is over, no problems there. Schreiber is also clean, both executing good Eskimo rolls. But Lever went a little bit wide, so Schreiber manages to make up a bit of ground. Ria Schreiber from the United States, Lois Lever from Great Britain. It looks like now it's the American who's taken the lead. Ria Schreiber turns first as they head towards the last reverse turn. Ria Schreiber from the United States definitely in front now. Lois Lever has some work to do in front of her. They head towards the last obstacle. It's the American just over the Brit. Schreiber over Lever. Schreiber turns first, heads for home. What has Lois Lever got? It's going to be a close finish, but I think the American has got it. Ria Schreiber gets there. She's into the final, the American. She had a little bit of work to do to catch Lois Lever. Lois Lever, though, made a bit of a mistake, went a bit wide in the middle stages after the Eskimo roll and had some work to do, and that let the American into the race. But it's Ria Schreiber from the United States through to the final.
But it's actually fun to look now at their times. Like, they have around 1 second in between them, and it was exactly the same they had after the quarterfinals. So they're keeping the same space between them.
Yeah, yep. Maybe that's a good reflection and a good measurement. But Ria Schreiber from the United States through to the final. What an incredible day of racing we've had, and to have these, if you had asked me at the start of the day which countries would be in the finals, there's no way in the world I would have nominated the ones that are there. I would not have said in a pink fit that Thailand and New Zealand would be contesting the men, and I would not have said that there would be an American in the women's final. So it is just great to see these young athletes coming through from countries that traditionally have not been that strong in these races. Second semi-final, Kristina Durachova from Slovakia, Lily Bryant from Great Britain. It's Durachova closest to the camera. Bryant on the far side of the course. Who looks the more relaxed, do you think, Henriette?
I think right now they're focusing on getting placed probably, but she's...
That's Durachova. I wouldn't say she's looking pensive, if I can use that word.
But she looks focused and it's
Yep.
like taking some deep breath.
We're underway. Not the greatest of starts, but they both hit the water at the same time and head towards the first buoy. It is Durachova on the closest to the camera. Bryant on the far side of the course. At this stage, it looks like it may well be Durachova just in front, but not much in it. They go around the second buoy. Durachova from Slovakia. Bryant from Great Britain. They head towards the reverse turn. Lily Bryant now in the lead as they go around that third buoy. It is Lily Bryant from Great Britain just ahead of Kristina Durachova from Slovakia. They head towards the halfway stage. The Eskimo roll now. Bryant's over.
Oh.
She's up the other side.
Close
Durachova,
roll.
great roll by both of them. They now turn and head for home. Lily Bryant from Great Britain just in front, but not by much. Durachova from Slovakia now puts in the long paddles. Here she goes. Can she make up the ground? Bryant turns first. She has a distinct advantage now over Durachova from Slovakia. It's Lily Bryant from Great Britain leading as they go into the reverse turn. She has a clear lead now, Lily Bryant, and that's a nice turn. She does that well, but so does Durachova. Durachova from Slovakia, Bryant from Great Britain. Bryant is going to turn for home first. She has a distinct lead over Durachova. I think the Brit has done it. It is Lily Bryant from Great Britain crosses the line first. She's into the final. It's going to be a Great Britain American final. Unbelievable. Lily Bryant, that was a very impressive race from the young girl.
Especially, yeah, Lily Bryant, she had a really good finish. Even after her roll, it seemed like she really got home in a good way. Like she entered the first buoy really well and really close to it. While the Slovakian girl, she had a bit more of a fight to get back in the race. But good race from both of them and
Really
good
good
times.
race. What was the time in the end? 1:16.81. So, judging by those times, it's going to be a tight final. Shribar was 1:16.69. Bryant 1:16.81. So,
And all four girls had good times and,
Yep.
and times that are actually also reflected from the quarterfinals. So I think they keep a pretty good, steady performance. While if you look at the boys' quarterfinal and semifinals, there's a bigger gap between the times. Of course, the Kazakhstan guy, he got disqualified,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we don't really know how fast the New Zealand guy can go.
oh, I'm looking forward to the finals. We have an athlete from the United States, an athlete from Great Britain, an athlete from Thailand, and an athlete from New Zealand. Amazing. Absolutely amazing that would be the finals lineup on the Saturday of qualifying for the 2018 Youth Olympic Games in Buenos Aires. The bronze medal race is down to start at 6:40. 6:40, so around 40 minutes from now. We'll take a short break and be back to call. They're calling it the bronze medal race, but there are no medals up for grabs. But for the sake of clarity, we'll call them medal races.
Racing for third.
Yeah, doesn't sound as sexy, does it?
No.
I like to make it sound sexy.
Bronze medal race.
Bronze medal race it is. 6:40 will be the start time. Hope you can join us then. Welcome back to Barcelona, and we are now awaiting the, well, I'm going to call it the bronze medal race. I know my co-commentator Henriette Engel Hansen would like to just call it the race for third, but that just doesn't cut it as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to call it the bronze medal race. In the men's competition, Henriette, what are you expecting here? We have Terence Samendif from Mauritius and Dias Bakridin from Kazakhstan.
I think we should expect a really close race here. Those two guys did really well in the semi-final.
Well, Bakridin got lost, didn't he? Remember, he went around, he headed to the wrong area and blew his race after he was travelling really, really well. So, and got I think he ended up getting disqualified. So, he has a point to prove, most definitely.
And the
Mauritius.
yeah, the Mauritius guys, Sarah Mandif, is like the energy went out of him in the second part of the run for the semi-final. So I hope he can do better now.
He is the athlete closest to camera, wearing the headband and looking like he's having a pretty good time up there, just tapping away. I don't know what they're playing on the loudspeaker at the moment, but he obviously enjoys the song. He looks so relaxed, doesn't he? Terence Saramindif from Mauritius.
Really relaxed. But I think we should pay attention to that, to the guy from Kazakhstan, Dias
Bakridin.
He finished third
In the sprint, yeah.
So he's done a really good job being third and now fighting for third again. That's a pretty solid performance.
It's an extraordinary performance from a guy who must have been born in a canoe. But this is Africa versus Asia as well, which is just wonderful to see this happening here at a junior level, at a Youth Olympic Games qualification event. Terence Saramindov from Mauritius, from the continent of Africa. Dias Bakridin from Kazakhstan, representing Asia. And the final is between a Thai and a New Zealander. So go figure. It is really an amazing turn-up for this event. The men's C1. This is the race for third. There is not actually any medals at stake. The white flag goes up. They are under the starters' orders. Saramindov from Mauritius, closest to the camera. Bakridin from Kazakhstan on the far side of the course. It's getting late. It's cold. It's a little bit windy, but the rain has stopped. You can see the flags there fluttering in the breeze. It shouldn't make too much of a difference for these athletes. We're about to start. Bang! We're off, and they hit the water. It looks like Saramindov got the better of the start as they head down for the first obstacle. It's Terence Saramindov from Mauritius. He'll turn just ahead of Dias Bakridin from Kazakhstan. Saramindov, an early leader, of course, as Henriette said, Bakridin a very good sprint canoeist, so he makes up a little bit of ground between the obstacles, but it looks like Saramindov is the better of the two slalom paddlers. Saramindov goes around with a slight lead over Bakridin from Kazakhstan as they head down towards the middle part of the course. This is where they need to do the Eskimo roll. Bakridin has made up a bit of ground there. In fact, he's probably turned first into the halfway stage. Let's see how they go with the roll. And they're both up very successfully. That's a good roll from two guys. You would expect to do that very well. And they turn for home. It looks like it's Bakridin from Kazakhstan, maybe just ahead of Saramindov from Mauritius, but not much in it. Bakridin now turns around. He's got a good lead heading into... Oh, where's he going? He's going to the wrong obstacle. He's done it again. He's done it again. He's gone to the wrong pole. He is out again. I cannot believe that you would do this 2 races in a row. I think it's dawning on him now. Oh, my goodness. This is a complete rerun. He has gone around the wrong pole again. He did it in the quarterfinal and he's done it in the semi-final. And the race is over for Dias Bakridin from Kazakhstan. Terence Saramindov cruises through the finish line. He has the 3rd placing locked away. Dias Bakridin, can you believe that he would do that? 2 races in a row. Henriette Engel Hansen, the guy has...
And it was in the same course.
Exactly.
He also had the ramp B for the semi-final. That's he must totally get confused when he turns around the
Hard to believe. Hard to believe that he would do that 2 races in a row. And he was going so well. He was in control. He had that race locked away. And he's gone for the wrong obstacle and has blown his chances. So it is a bronze, it is a 3rd placing for the athlete from Mauritius, Terence Saramindov. Here's the gold medal race. From Thailand, Piernath Kutsik. He is the closest to the camera. On the far side of the course, from New Zealand, Finn Anderson. Yes, you heard that right. It is Thailand versus New Zealand in the gold medal race. Unbelievable. What a great result. How do you think this is going to go, Henriette?
I think it's going to be a close race.
Don't sit on the fence.
And
Come on. Come on.
I have no clue, actually, because both of them have been doing really well. I think
the tie.
He did really well in the semi-final. He got the speed up, and we don't really know what Anderson he can do because he had an easy run, actually.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the guy from Kazakhstan got disqualified. But let's see how it's going to run.
They're off. They're hitting the water as one. It is Kutsik closest to the camera from Thailand. Anderson from New Zealand on the far side of the course. They head towards the first turn. It looks like it may be Kutsik just ahead of Anderson, but not much in it. I wouldn't like to try and call the early leader. We head down to the second turn. Definitely Kutsik now from Thailand, and he makes that turn much quicker than the athlete from New Zealand, Finn Anderson. Piernath Kutsik from Thailand. He's around the third buoy. He has a clear lead now over Finn Anderson from New Zealand. Oh, he gets into a bit of trouble too, Anderson coming out of that turn. So Kutsik, a comfortable lead now at the halfway stage. He's got an Eskimo roll to and he's over. No problems at all. Anderson over as well. No problems there for him, although he's come up and a little bit stagnant. As we turn for home, it is Piernath Kutsik from Thailand. He's done all the hard work now. He holds a comfortable lead. He just needs to remember what order to go in on the way back. Oh, please don't go to the wrong buoy. No, he's okay. He's straightened himself up. He's heading around now. He has to do a reverse turn around this obstacle. Then he has one more to go around, and the race will be his. He heads around. He's going the wide berth, but he has plenty of time up his sleeve. He's around the final obstacle. He turns and heads for home. The gold medal belongs to Thailand. Piernath Kutsik, he is a product of a development camp in Thailand from a few years back, and what a wonderful success story this is. He punches the air. Piernath Kutsik from Thailand, congratulations. Finn Anderson from New Zealand to the silver. What a great result.
Could you repeat, please? I am meaning to repeat.
Just wait for clarification that is all clear, but at this stage it looks like
It's clear, yeah.
all clear. Not a fast time by any stretch, 1:21.46.
It seems like the wind is making a difference now.
Yeah.
And if you look further down the whole course in the venue, the Olympic venue, you can see that it's getting really windy down at the bottom.
And look at this. This is great. Behind the pontoon now, the Kiwi Anderson comes over, shakes the hand of the Thai Kutsik. As you said earlier on, Henriette, there'll be some great friendships built this week between athletes that have never seen each other before, and will probably spend the next 10, 15 years competing against each other on the international stage.
Exactly. That would be how you often have seen that people have been competing against each other at the Youth Olympic Games, and then further on for the under 18 and the under 23 games, and then when they're seniors, they know each other, and that's what's so nice when you've been competing against each other and you have friends from around the world that you haven't been seen for the whole winter, and then you meet, for instance, at the first World Cups, and it's so nice to see your good friends again who you've been competing against, but still you're good friends with.
Speaking of competing, and my guest commentator, my co-commentator is Henriette Engel Hansen, a three-time Olympian, a world champion. I know there'll be a lot of people listening, wondering what you're doing with your career.
Kids from my club and sharing some of my experience as well. I hope to share some of my experience with these young athletes in Argentina. So
Going to be tempted to jump in a boat and go out there and
no, I haven't been training it.
her there at her word, but that's what she says, so we'll go with that. But we might see her at the marathon. Maybe the World Championships are in Portugal this year. Maybe we might get you there to Portugal.
Maybe not. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it goes through the season, and we have a selection for the marathon actually in 2 weeks, and another selection in 3 weeks. We have a lot of selection races for marathon, and if I'm racing internationally, then the first event will be the Europeans in Croatia in end of June.
Okay, so watch this space.
We'll see what happens.
And by the way, it is your birthday tomorrow, I understand, so can I get in first and wish you happy birthday for tomorrow? Are we allowed to say how old you are, or is that a no-go area?
It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 35.
35?
Yeah, I'm an old lady now.
No, you've still got so many years in front of you. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I hope that you enjoy spending it in Barcelona.
It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
It's nice to be around all these young athletes who are so eager to do this sport and so motivated, and I hope they will keep their motivation up for the years to come. It's tough sometimes to be 15 years old, 16 years old, and you want to be good at your sport, but you also want to be good in school, and you want to be socializing with your friends from school and from outside the canoeing. So I hope to see them racing internationally in
Well,
5 years.
I will make sure that I spread the word amongst the athletes that it is your birthday tomorrow, so that they are particularly kind to you when you go and talk to them. And that maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll... I've already presented you with a little bit of a cake, some leftover cake from my birthday. It was my birthday earlier on in the week.
I love leftovers.
I know, and can you believe I had some cake left over, so I could pretend that I'd made one especially for you, and I gave it to you, and...
It didn't really look like you made one.
No, because there was only about one slice left.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
But it's the thought that counts. It's the thought
That's
that
true,
counts. Well,
that's
happy birthday for tomorrow anyway.
Thank you, Ross.
But you can still get up and go for a run tomorrow morning with me, okay?
I'd love to, but you don't want to go running with me. You say I'm too fast.
I think you will be too fast. You've got 17 years on me, so you can run by yourself as far as I'm concerned. We are awaiting the girls' bronze and gold medal race. We're about 5 minutes away from a start. It's already been a very long day. We had a delay to the start because of some technical issues, and if you're wondering what happened, we had a little bit of a problem with the pontoon, the starting pontoon, which started drifting off down the course, which was a little bit alarming for the poor athletes who were sitting up on the starting blocks and all of a sudden found themselves drifting over to the centre of the waterway.
It seemed like a cable got loose or something. And
Yeah.
It's so windy that the wind started pushing it.
And you know what? Who was the first person down there trying to grab hold of the cable to straighten it all up again? Jean-Michel Prono. He was down there. He was almost about to rip his clothes off and dive into the water, but thankfully, common sense prevailed and they made him keep his clothes on. But they managed to fix up the pontoon. It's in place now. We've had the men's races. We're now waiting for the women in the women's K1. We're going to have in the bronze medal race from Great Britain, Lois Lever, up against from Slovakia, Kristina Durachova. And then in the gold medal race from the United States, Ria Schreiber, up against from Great Britain, Lily Bryant. Really looking forward to seeing these two races involving 4 athletes from countries that, well, to be fair, Great Britain does have a really strong canoe slalom women's program. And you look at the likes of Mallory Franklin, Kimberly Woods, they have some really good, talented canoe slalom female athletes. So I'm not surprised, really, that you have 2 female canoe slalom athletes here from Great Britain. The United States, of course, well, that's sort of a little bit of a sleeping giant, I think, when it comes to canoe slalom. Not a big program there at the moment, but maybe Ria Schreiber is the face of the future for slalom paddling in the United States. And, of course, we know Slovakia, very, very good pedigree, paddling pedigree. So Durachova, Kristina Durachova, I'm sure that'll be a name that we remember into the future. Continuing on from some very famous Slovak paddlers over the years and Czech paddlers over the years. All right, the girls have climbed up onto the top of the pontoon. We're not far away from a start in the bronze medal race. It's Lois Lever from Great Britain, closest to the camera on Tower A. Tower B, Kristina Durachova from Slovakia. How do you feel? What do you feel about this race? Obviously 2 girls who performed reasonably well in their semi-finals.
I think Louise Lever, she did really well in the semi-finals. She had a good run. It was a really close run. So I think it's difficult.
Yeah.
She could have
She was a full second faster than Durachova in her semi-final.
But it's a matter of how the start goes and how they turn around the pillars and how fast they can do their roll. I think a lot of things can happen in this race. We've seen it before. If you get a bad turn, then you can actually easily be off, even though you're in the bronze medal final.
I'll tell you what, Durachova looks a tad nervous about where they've left her. She put her hand up to say, stop, don't push me any further because I'm going to topple over the edge. But she's ready to go now. We are waiting for the starters orders. We're waiting for the white flags to go up, which will mean both girls are ready. It's now 7:22 on a Saturday evening here in Barcelona after what has been a wet and cold day of racing.
It's been a long day for these girls.
These girls will be starting to feel pretty, if I can use the word again, knackered.
Yeah, you can use the word again. They've been on the course for around 9-10 hours already.
Yeah.
So it's okay if they're getting tired now, and you get more tired when it's cold and it's windy then.
Yep. They need to dig deep here.
But I think they're so much in the zone, so of course.
Indeed. The white flag goes up. It means the athletes are ready. The starter raises the pistol into the air. We are close to a start here in the bronze medal event. The girls' kayak women's obstacle course. The selection trials for the Youth Olympic Games are underway, and on the far side of the course it looks like Durachova got a slightly better start as they head down to the first obstacle. Lever, though, quickly across that first stretch of ground or water. She's turned pretty even with the Slovak paddler. They go into the second turn, and it's still Duracheva from Slovakia. She went really wide though, but she heads down now. This is the reverse turn. Duracheva is definitely in front after 3 obstacles. Levers just gets caught up a little bit in that reverse turn, so they'll turn at the halfway stage, and it's Durachova from Slovakia who turns first. She executes the roll, no problems there with her Eskimo roll. Lever over and up as well, no problems for her. They turn for home. It's the Slovak with a commanding lead as they head towards the third last obstacle. She crashes into that one, Duracheva, but no problem. Luckily, it went on the right side of the boat for her. Lever trying desperately to make up some ground as they head down to the reverse turn. It's Duracheva from Slovakia, a comfortable leader at the moment. Lever trying to dig deep from Great Britain, trying to pull back a bit of ground, but Duracheva has this race under control. She's around the final obstacle and she heads for home. That is a very impressive race for her, and a good wow. Look at that time. Look at that time, 1:14.1 unofficially.
That's really fast.
That is incredibly fast. Where was that run earlier on? Where was that run earlier on? We'll just wait for that officially to come through. 1:14 flat.
That's really amazing.
That is amazing. That time is, I think it's the quickest time of the day. No, we had a 1:13 earlier on from Katharina Bokova, who unfortunately ran into grief in the quarterfinals. She did a 1:13, but that's the second fastest time of the day. And she's done it in the bronze medal race.
It's a really good performance.
Yeah, she may well ask where was that run earlier on, but she should be very, very happy with that. She obviously had a point to prove. Here's the gold medal race. We have the American, Ria Schreiber, on screen now. Taking some deep breaths. She's on Tower A. There is Lily Bryant from Great Britain. She's been racing well all day.
I think both of them have been racing really well full day. There's a reason why they are now in the final. They have been doing a good job even from the morning.
Nothing between them in the semi-final. Schreiber went around in 1:16.69 and Bryant 1:16.81. So, you know, that is close enough to a dead heat. Let's see how they go though in the final for the gold medal. Schreiber closest to the camera. Bryant, and they're off.
Whoa.
And Schreiber definitely gets the better of the start there. She raced off the blocks and heads down towards the first obstacle. She should turn clearly first, and she does so. Bryant has some work to do already. It's the American Schreiber. She has really raced out of that start, but Bryant has picked up the gap straight away. They are now dead level as they head into the second turn, heading for now the reverse turn. And it's the athlete from Great Britain who's now turned in front. Lily Bryant, she missed the start, but she's made up that ground really quick as they head to the halfway stage. Lily Bryant will turn first, but not by much. They go into the Eskimo roll. Bryant is over and up already. Schreiber goes over and up. Not as neat as Bryant, but Bryant is leading as they head for home. Not by a lot. Lily Bryant turns first, heads down for the third last obstacle, gets around clean, no worries there. Ria Schreiber is also around, but she has some work to do to catch up. She really needs to hope that Lily Bryant slips up here on this reverse turn, but she doesn't. She's got around nice and clean, whereas Schreiber's really struck a little bit of trouble there. So Lily Bryant, I think the gold medal will be hers. She's around the final obstacle. She turns for home. She has a clear lead over the American. It's Lily Bryant from Great Britain, crosses the line now. That is a really good race from Lily Bryant. The time not as quick as the race for third, but she got the job done. Lily Bryant from Great Britain takes the gold medal. Congratulations. What did you think, Henriette?
I'm amazed by the start of the of Sriba. She was just like flying
Oof.
down that ramp. But it seemed like she couldn't keep the pace up. Like she was maybe going a bit too fast for the first half, and then she died a bit at the end, compared to how close the race was before they had the roll. But I think both of them made a good race. No really any mistakes or anything they went through. Just as I think the bronze medal race and both bronze and gold medal races, they were good races. And
But very one-sided. If you look both races, the margin was around 4 seconds between the two athletes. So quite convincing wins in both. But congratulations to Lily Bryant from Great Britain for the gold, or the first placing in the women's event. And for the men, Pinath Kutsik from Thailand celebrating the gold medal on what has been a great day of racing and some great results across the board, because we've had athletes from all over the world competing, and the last 4 athletes have been spread across all the continents. We've had a fantastic outcome for canoeing and for the future. Henriette, thank you so much for joining us here in the commentary today. It's so much easier when there's someone else sitting next to me than when I'm sitting here by myself, boring myself rigid with my own voice. So thank you, and hopefully will you come and join me again tomorrow? I know it's your birthday and you've probably got better things to do.
I'll be here tomorrow morning.
Excellent.
I have a flight in the early afternoon. So
That'll be right. That's right. As long as you're here in the morning, that's the main thing. Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you at home or wherever you are watching today. We hope you've enjoyed the racing. We've got more fantastic competition for you tomorrow. It'll be the men's K1 and the women's C1. I think we're due to start at 8:30 tomorrow morning, I believe. So fingers crossed that happens. Hope you can join us then. Thank you.